Hello mga ka-Nanay, it's me again, Nanay Jane, and in this video, we'll talk about the rules on how to use do, does, or did. This is actually one of the common mistakes that most of us do, especially since we are not native speakers of the English language. But if you know the basic rules, it will be easier for you to use them without even thinking twice if did I use that right? Or what should I use? Should I use do, does, or did, or what? Okay? So in this video, we're going to talk about the basic rules on how to use them. Okay? But first, let's test yourself. This is one strategy that I use in school that I will apply to you. So the use of pretest or diagnostic test. Um, Test yourself first about your knowledge on the use of do, does, or did. Okay? So I hope you have your pen and paper ready and just write numbers 1 to 10 on your paper and put a check mark if the sentence is correct and X if it is wrong. Okay? So in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so time's up. Now it's time for us to check your answer. No cheating, be honest. Okay, here are the correct answers. Okay, so congratulations if you got 10 over 10, perfect score. Good job, okay? So that means this video is not for you. You may watch my other vlogs. And please, if you are not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing, okay? Before you end this video. Now, if you got 9 below, even if you only have one mistake, please continue watching because this video is really for you. Okay, so we're going to talk about the answers in our pretest later after our discussion of the rules on how to use do, does, or did. Okay, so let's talk about that later. For now, let's talk about the rules in using do, does, or did. Okay, so I will just give you basic points to remember in using them. First, take note that do, does, or did are actually helping verbs. That means we use them together with an action word in the base form. Okay? So when we say base form, the base form of the verb, for example, run. Okay? So when we use do, does, or did, the verb is always run. So do run, does run, did run. It won't change at all. Or do eat, does eat, did eat. Or do smile, does smile, did smile. Or do write, does write, did write. Okay? That's one tip. These words are used together with an action word in the base form. Okay? Nalobat yung cellphone ko kagabi, so ngayon itutuloy ko na siya. Kaya baka you might be wondering bakit biglang naka-ponytail na ako ngayon. Okay, anyway, so again, just like what I said, do, does, and did are used together with the verb or an action word in its base form. So in its simplest form. That's why this is one common mistake. Okay, so let's focus on did. So in this vlog, I won't focus more on the present tense or past tense. I assume that you have your knowledge on the tenses of verbs. So let's talk about did this time. This is one common mistakes of most of us. She didn't said that. Okay, so I did not put the time expression in the past tense. So let's say that this is really in the past tense. Why is this wrong? Okay, this may sound right for others. It may sound right that she didn't said that. It seems like right, but it's grammatically wrong. Why? Let's go back to my first tip that do, does, and did are used together with an action word in its base form. That means in its simplest form, no S and not even in its past tense. So what is the action word here? It said. She didn't said that. This one is wrong because the tense of the verb is already in the helping verb did. So this must be say. Remember, base form of the verb. She didn't say that. Or she didn't eat that. She didn't write that. Okay? Again, did and didn't is always used together with the verb in its base form. Okay? So there you go. Now, let's talk about, okay, so the same goes with the question. For example, did I hear that right? Okay, in this sentence, did I hear that right? So did is the helping verb and hear is the base form of the verb. Did hear. Did in the past tense and hear in its base form. Okay? So I hope we're clear on that. Now this time, let's talk about the use of do and does. Remember again that do and does are used for present tense. Okay? So what is the difference between do and does? Let's talk about the subject-verb agreement this time. So when we say subject-verb agreement, the subject or the verb should agree with its subject. Okay? In terms of number. Okay, so for example, let's have this. Do is used for plural subjects and does is used for singular subjects. This is what you should remember. Does, there's an S, means singular. That's one thing that I always tell also to my students so that they will remember when we say singular verb, it has S in the end. And when we say plural verb, there is no S. Okay? Because in the word plural, there's no S. So that's what you have to remember. Now, when do we say that the subject is singular? Of course, the subject is singular when we're talking about only one. So, for example, Nanay Jane is only one. Or for the, of course, for every person, okay? Or even place. So, if we're talking about only one person, place, thing, animal, event, or idea. Okay? Now, for pronoun, we use he, she, it. Okay. Now, for the plural subjects, so when we say plural subjects, two or more subjects. So, for example, Nanay Jane and Mav. Okay? Two or more. Nanay Jane, Tatay Brian, and Mav. So, again, for plural subjects, we're talking about um, uh, two or more two or more people, places, things, animals, events, or ideas. So for plural pronouns, we are using we, they, I, and you. Okay. Take note, I and you are considered plural all the time. Okay? So although this may be singular in meaning, because when I say I, that's only me, but they always take the plural form of the verb. For example, okay, so let's have the base form, make. Okay? Nanay, Jane, and Mav. Let's use the positive of this one. Don't and doesn't. Okay? Nanay, Jane, and Mav don't make ice cream. Okay? Nanay Jane doesn't make ice cream. Okay? So remember, if the subject is plural, we use do. And if the subject is singular, we use does. With the verb in its base form. Okay? So let's try to study each sentence in our pretest earlier. Okay? So let's go back to this. So let's have number 1. Did you return your books yesterday? This is correct because we use the helping verb did together with the action word return. So return is in its base form, and that is right. Number 2, Nanay Jane and Mav doesn't like the taste of natto. Why is this wrong? Remember, our subject is Nanay Jane and Mav. That means the subject is plural. So, we should use don't instead of doesn't. Number 3, does she take a bath every day? This is correct because our verb is does take. Does she is singular, and take is in its base form. Number 4, Tatay Brian together with Mav and Nanay Jane do not go outside. Okay, in this part, I really intended to put the phrase together with Mav and Nanay Jane. This is actually called panggulo phrase. Okay, so I consider this as panggulo phrase, but this is actually an appositive. Um, whenever you see this kind of phrase or the words inside two commas, that means you can remove this in a sentence. Okay, so let's try to delete this phrase and let's have our sentence, Tatay Brian do not go outside. Take note, the main subject is Tatay Brian and Tatay Brian is only one. So we should use does not go outside. Okay, remember, Tatay Brian is singular, is in does. So, Tatay Brian does not go outside. Number 5, no, I didn't eat your cupcake. Okay, why is this wrong? Remember, didn't must be used together with the action word in its base form. And the base form of ate is eat. So the answer here is no, I didn't eat your cupcake. Okay? Number 6, Mary does not work overtime. Okay, let's check. Our subject is Mary and our verb is does not work. So this one is correct because Mary is singular and work is in its base form. Number 7, we do not like children who doesn't respect elders. This one is actually wrong. Why? Because we do not like children. That's correct actually. We is plural and do is plural. But in our phrase, who doesn't respect elders, we're talking about children here and children is plural. So, doesn't must be don't. Let's say we do not like children who don't respect elders. That's the right answer. Number 8, how does your computer works? Okay, our subject here is computer and computer is only one, so does is correct. But look at the main verb, which is works. Remember, does is always used together with an action word in its base form, and the base form of works is work. So the answer here must be, how does your computer work? Number 9, why did you said that word? Okay, just like in my example in the discussion part, did is always used together with the verb in its base form. So the answer here must be, why did you say that word? And the last one, does she understands the lesson? Okay, our subject is she, so this means it's singular. Does is correct. But look at the main verb, understands. Again, does is always used together with the verb in its base form, and the base form of understands is understand only. So the answer here is, does she understand the lesson? Okay, so that's it. I hope your question earlier is clarified. If you ask, why am I wrong? What's wrong with this sentence? So I hope I was able to explain that clearly. I hope so. Okay, so that's what you just have to remember with the use of do, does, or did. Again, do, does, and did are always used together with the verb in its base form or the verb in its simplest form. Okay? Take note that helping verbs take the tense of the verb in a sentence. Okay? So also do is used for plural subject, and does is used for singular subject, while did is always used regardless of the number of subjects, as long as it's in the past tense. All right, so if you have any questions about this lesson, comment down below in this video. And if you have a request on other grammatical mistakes or grammatical lessons that you would like to study more, please feel free to comment, okay? And I'll try to do that in our next session. So for now, let's test yourself again. Let's see how much you've learned from this video, okay? So let's try to answer. Get your pen and paper again, pen and paper, and answer this. Okay, here are the correct answers. Number 1, don't it matter to you? This is wrong because it is the subject in this sentence and it is singular. So the answer here is, doesn't it matter to you? Number 2, where does Mav keep her toys? This one is correct because Mav is singular, thus keep is correct. Number 3, what did you watch last week? Again, this one is in the past tense. Did watched is wrong because the answer must be did watch only. Remember, base form of the verb. Number 4, the teacher, along with her students, don't forget to pray before the class. Again, when we remove the phrase along with her students, the sentence would be, the teacher don't forget to pray before the class. The teacher is singular. So that means the answer must be, the teacher doesn't forget to pray before the class. Number 5, I didn't wanted to disturb you earlier. Again, didn't is always used with the base form of the verb. So the answer here is, I didn't want to disturb you earlier. Number 6, does your family go to the supermarket every weekend? This one is correct because the subject is your family and the verb is does go. Family is singular. Does is singular. Go is in a base form. Number 7, we do not manage the business well. This one is also correct because the subject is we and the verb is do manage. Number 8, where does your parents go? This one is wrong because the subject here is your parents and that is plural. So the verb must be where do your parents go? Number 9, those women doesn't talk to me. This one is wrong because the subject is women. And the answer must be those women don't talk to me. Remember, women is plural and don't is plural as well. And the last one, no, he don't like basketball. This one is wrong because the subject is he. He is singular. That means our verb must be no, he doesn't like basketball. Okay, so what is your score? Congratulations if you got 10 over 10, perfect score. You learned a lot from this lesson. So if you still have a mistake, don't worry. You can always watch this video again and practice more on the use of do, does, or did. Okay? So again, if you like this video, please click the like sign and also subscribe if you are not yet subscribed, and hit the bell button as well to get notified if I have new uploads in ESL teaching, home-based, also for English lessons and parenting tips. So thank you very much for staying with me and see you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.